As a reporter, there wasn't much I haven't saw. But there was one story I was reporting that chilled me to the bone. It was the case of Don Heath. Don Heath was the local mechanic and everyone's friends. Don had a wife and 2 sons in which he named the shop after. Dale and Jeff's rusty old rides. He loved his wife and kids as much as he loved the cars. The car he took care of the most was his Plymouth Superbird. This car was his pride and joy. He often drove his wife and kids to church in it. As Don grew older, so did Dale and Jeff. They both got into trouble when they were around 16 and 19. One day, one of the neighbor boys challenged Jeff to a race. Jeff said he didn't have a car, but Dale suggested that they steal Dad's. Jeff did not like it, but he was forced due to peer pressure. On the night of the race, it was a very dark night. It was a new moon, so no moon was out. There was 4 racers. Dale and Jeff rode together. The guy who challenged them, and 2 random street racers. The race was tight at first, but the Mustang jumped out in front of a heartbeat. Dale and Jeff didn't want to lose the race, so they took a shortcut through the woods to catch up. They did not look out because as they were entering the woods, they forgot that there was work on the Green River Bridge, and they flew straight into the river. The car was destroyed, but both boys were okay. They had to walk all the way home because the 3 other racers heard cops coming. Both Dale and Jeff explained everything to their father, and this is where things got really, really weird. Don was okay with it. Don blamed it all on the other racers because of peer pressure. Until Saturday. Saturday came, and they didn't have anything to drive to church. Don flipped and stormed off to his garage. He stayed there in his garage for a couple of days before coming out and killing. First, he didn't talk to his wife. He didn't talk to his sons. He didn't even eat. Nor did he work on any of the cars anymore. He just thought about killing. Then it happened. Don started off with 3 street racers. He started off with the driver of the Camaro. The Camaro driver was up under his car with the jacks. As Don came up to the driver, he asked him how he was doing, but before the driver could reply, Don kicked the jacks out from under the car and it crushed the driver. Almost perfect was his head, crushed by the front left wheel. Don cursed at the body, saying, "You killed my baby, so I killed you." As time passed, the death became national, but no one thought this friendly mechanic killed him. They ruled the death as an accident. Don then attacked the ranchero driver. He was a young Asian driver that thought he was better at racing than everyone, but he knew he couldn't back up what he spoke. Don asked the driver if he needed any help. The driver said yes, he needs him to help him hold the hood up. So Don did, and then he dropped it. It crushed the driver. His head disintegrated by the hood. There was blood everywhere. He screamed and kicked and tried to get out from under the hood, but failed to, and when Don opened the hood, there was nothing but a skull left because of the motor oil splashed in his face. The garage that he was working in caught fire due to the outbreak. The driver's house and garage were destroyed. Same as the last driver, they ruled the death as an accident, but there was talk about around the neighborhood that the mechanic was killing the drivers because he went insane, which he did. The last driver was Ted, the jock of the school and often a bully to other kids. Oh, Don had no mercy on Ted. Ted was sleeping. He was sleeping when Don creeped in his house and tied him up and threw him on the highway. Right as Ted hit the highway, an old pickup driver hit him. As he screamed Don's name, the driver of the pickup truck was also the local sheriff and stopped just as he hit Ted. He heard Ted scream out Don's name. Don ran for his life as the sheriff chased him. He ran all the way back to his house. He then hid in the garage. He was shot in the shoulder before finally falling to his knees. The sheriff shot him twice in the chest and 3 times in the head. He was killed right in front of Dale and Jeff. The whole neighborhood was shocked when they found out Don killed all the drivers. Dale and Jeff felt the guilt. Their grades dropped and they went into a downward spiral of depression. They had no friends. Everyone called them crazy. Until that car followed them to their school. The old Plymouth Superbird was there. They didn't see the driver, but they knew who it was. It was Don Heath, alive and well. Blood covered his face. His wife screamed. He got out of the car, got a hatchet, and slit her throat. The boys watched as their mother died. Jeff tackled Don, pinned him to the ground, found the local shotgun that was kept inside their cabinet, held it to his dad's head, and screamed, "I love you." Don was dead. The 2 boys were left alone. No one to guide them, no one to guard them. They then vowed to never speak of this again. Got rope, went to the Green River Bridge, and jumped. They hang there for about a week before anyone found them. But below them sat the body of Don Heath. And the car, his Plymouth Superbird, cranked and running like it was brand new. You could say the power of his love towards that car kept it alive. But we all knew what kept that car. Don was not an ordinary person. He was the mechanic